it time for more Fatal 12? You're damn right it is. Well, folks have been dropping like flies. We lost Odette, which sucks. We lost Scale, which was very expected. And we managed to press Parka for some info about this whole vessel thing, and she does not give two craps. It's like, oh, you found out? Neat. And we proceed. So, obviously confirmed the things that Maharu said, which, first of all, validates all the other things Maharu told us about her being a vessel for the last 17 years. An interesting question was brought up during elimination, though. The idea that did Parka do something to change fate while she was in Maharu's body? Because Parka implied that she could do that, and Maharu was like, wait, what? And I wonder if that's going to tie into the idea that Parka triggered everyone else's deaths in order to get this divine selection going, which I still think is likely the case. Entirely probable, even. But hasn't really been explicitly acknowledged by the cast, I don't think. It also raises questions about why that's necessary. Again, why does there need to be a game, a competition among people in order to change vessels? Does she need this energy, this light that keeps collecting in the upper stratum in order to accomplish it? Is there some other reason other than just we needed to make a video game? And what's with Mr. Effeminate Dude, who also gave us a little visit? And why are the memories he's giving us relevant? He's given us memories of when we were a baby. We got memories now of when we were like 8 or 12 or something and meeting Maharu for the first time in the park and looking cute as a button while doing it. Are these going to tie into something? Usually when we get these memories, like in other games I'm thinking of things like Spirit of Justice, where we get memories and stuff and they turn out to be the key to solving a case or whatever. Is that going to happen? Is there going to be something that ties in that gives us a revelation about how to beat Parka or beat this game? We also got our first ending, our first bad ending. And according to the Steam achievements, it's bad ending number 3. So there's at least 3 bad endings, and I may have missed 2 of them. I still think not taking up Odette on that deal she offered us when she came to Lion House, I still feel like we dodged a bad ending there, but we'll find out in due time when we go back and collect the rest of the endings. We'll have to see. We are also getting to the point where there's not a whole lot of endings left. I mean, what else is going to happen? I still think Federico is going to be the next one out. I've been saying that for a few times now, but he's definitely been dodging his fate quite deftly. He avoided being voted out by Odette, who really could have voted him out or at least blocked his vote. But she decided to go out on her own terms. That's the only reason he survived. He could have been voted out this last time, but his regret card changed, which is like the second time a regret card has exploded in Alan's hand, and he's probably getting really sick of that. But I can't see Federico outlasting any of the other 3. I really feel like it's going to come down to Alan, Maharu, and Rinka. And then it's going to be a question of what's Alan going to do now. He's already declared his intention to get to Rinka through Maharu. Not the worst idea. I'm not sure if he realizes yet that we have our personal cards now when we used to not have them. If he does think that, then he would expect us to be the last one. And he may leave us for last just because of who we are, because of his attitude toward us in the last video, where he reminds us of someone and he's actually kind of looking out for us. Even went out of his way to not look at the message we sent to Scale, even though it would mean that he would have all of our cards. I'm still very cagey on the rules that are governing the last few decisions as far as why did we not vote Scale out a week earlier. Oh, he could have defended himself or killed me back. No, he couldn't. What do you want about? I feel like those are plot holes that are just being glossed over right now, but hopefully we get explanations on them. In the meantime, it is right after the last election. It is a new week. There are 4 of us left. We have just gotten that memory of us and Maharu in the park, looking cute as buttons. And now it's time to see what exactly that leads to. Where are we going with this? How could I forget something that important, namely that memory? It doesn't feel like I've had a nightmare when I jolt awake. I normally wake up in a cold sweat whenever that man appears in my dreams. Okay, so you are kind of starting to remember him. Is Leth here? Leth is here! Look at that damn thing hanging off his neck. That does look like that bastard's earring. Is Leth here every time we meet the dude? Is there a correlation? What's happening? Is this guy effeminate dude's vessel? And why is he even bothering to show up? I'm still waiting for the explanation here. Leth, tell me what you know. Looks like Leth pawed the covers off me at some point. That explains why I feel so cold. Actually, it's got nothing to do with the temperature. It's got to do with the fact that Leth is evil. It's got more to do with the fact that I remember the man appearing in my dreams. Oh, is this the first time you remembered him? Oh yeah, I'm not sure why, but I'd completely forgotten about him until now. From the way he talks, that's intentional. So I'm not sure if we're just building up an immunity to it, or breaking through that amnesia, or if he's just letting us remember now. That's right, he's appeared a number of times before. Yeah, and Leth is always here when he does. Isn't that weird? Some theories claim that the brain organizes one's memories while they sleep, which results in our dreams. Yeah, I would agree with some of those theories. It may be possible to dream about past events that you've forgotten based on that theory. But the dreams I have feel more like I'm literally reliving those events. Hey, lucid dreams are fun. I can induce those dreams. Parker said that the dream world represents a wealth of possibilities. In that case, they might not be mere memories, but the representation of a world that could be. So maybe this didn't happen? Is that what you're implying? Who in the world is that man? Fantastic question. Meow? Me? Meow? Yeah, probably pointless to rely on Leth for an answer, because Leth is evil and won't tell us. Who knows? Maybe that world has dreams of the past as well. Then again, I can't say whether or not cats even dream in the first place. I can't believe I forgot something that important. I really am horrible. This is the line we started on, Rinka. Move past it. I wonder if Maharu remembers those days. Then again, it's Maharu we're talking about. She definitely does. Yeah, do you remember the days when your dad killed a bunch of people? I wonder if that, you know... Oh, no, sorry. Completely slipped my mind. She probably noticed that I'd forgotten and decided not to bring it up. Those events feel heavier than her confession somehow. In fact, it might even be possible that she's liked me ever since those days. Maybe I'm thinking too highly of myself. But it would explain why she hates saying goodbye. I still need to give her an answer. I'm pretty sure one of the Steam achievements is actually the answer, so that probably ties into one of the good endings. I feel my cheeks heat up as I recall her confession. It's almost been a week. Almost been a week? Yeah, I guess it would have almost been a week. I wonder if there's a time limit or something for people on the receiving end of the confession. It'd help if someone told me. Let me check some manga. I'll put it off for just a little bit longer. If she asks about it, I'll apologize and explain. Alan and Federico are still at large, so I don't want to answer her until I settle things with them. I still think Federico, not only is he going to be the next one out because of just things we've mentioned. Well, I guess it depends. We're probably going to get some sort of arc out of Federico in the same way we got a final arc out of Scale this last week. Just judging from his behavior at Tokyo Tower. He's had a revelation, he's a new man, he's slightly less of a loser, he's going to have a week to enjoy it, and then we're going to toss him out and he's going to be completely cool with it. Back to school. Morning, Rennie! Coming to school every Monday has been something of a cathartic experience for me lately. It's proof that I'm able to live and see another week. Maharu was already there by the time I arrived, so we spend some time chatting until class starts. Mao was just there too. Lunch? Once lunch rolls around, I make my way to the rooftop, as usual. Meanwhile, Mao stays in class so that she can finish up the homework that needs to be handed in during 5th period. Homework given to us last Tuesday, might I add. Boy, that's relatable. That brings back memories. I finished it the day we got it, so I get to chill and enjoy my lunch. After some small talk, I decide to bring up an important topic. Hey Maharu, but what happened in the Court of Fate last night? I'm referring to the discussion between Federico and Parka about whether or not her vessel has access to her powers. While it turns out that isn't the case, Parka did say that she retains the ability to alter fate, even from within her vessel. That statement seemed to take Maharu by surprise. Yep, just like I said earlier. You already know my regret, so I'm fine with telling you. Parka likely knows my feelings for you as well, why would she not? My surprise was from realizing that she may have had a hand in us meeting again here at Amica. Apparently Maharu had wanted to see me again ever since that day. Ah, okay, so we're getting that park memory at a relevant time after all. That never came about due to her family circumstances, though. They moved to the countryside not long after our last meeting. And they did it because her dad caused an accident in which a child lost their life. Not only did the family get ostracized by the locals, but they faced harassment as well. They refused to let Maharu attend a nearby elementary school with things like that. Once they moved to the countryside, they started using her mother's maiden name instead of her father's. The accident left her father mentally impaired and unable to hold a standard job. It eventually led to him committing suicide when she was in 6th grade. Okay, so 6th grade, which means they said they were just starting elementary at the age they were there. So I guess they would have been 8-ish. So she was starting 6th grade. That would have been 11 years old. So, okay. Just trying to get the timeline straight. My father couldn't bear to live with what he had done. Some say he was irresponsible, but I disagree. Of course, it turns out that I inherited his weakness. Suicide was Maharu's cause of death as well. Oh, that's true. I guess you could say she inherited her father's weakness in a much more literal way than we've been taking it. I know this, but I never asked why. It might be best that I never know, in truth. Maharu continues her story. Her father's suicide incited rumors of the accident he caused to spread. The results were even more fierce in such a small rural area. It led to her entire family having to move once again. Having returned to Tokyo, Maharu chose to enter Amaka because it offered scholarships to middle school students, and it carried appeal to those wishing to attend college. She only knew my name at the time, so the chances of our meeting again were slim, especially when you consider that I wasn't part of any clubs or particularly well known. Even so, Maharu wished to find me again never faltered. She figured she would have the best chance by going to a school in Tokyo. Just as I was ready to give up, we reunited in high school. You were somehow more cute and charming than I remembered. Haha. At first, I considered it nothing short of a miracle, but what if Parka altered fate knowing how I felt about you? Why would she bother? So she could enjoy watching us struggle against one another, knowing full well that we'd both become participants? Would she know that, though? How far into the future would she see that coming? How far into the future does someone who can alter fate get to see fate? Let's not forget how high the standards are for Amaka compared to your midterm grades. There's no way you would have gotten accepted without a fairly big push from fate itself. I read that initially as fairy big push. I'm like, well, Parker's not really a fairy, like a fairy godmother or something. But you did get a fairy big push. You did. You got a big push from a fairy. What was that, a backhanded compliment? I figured she was joking at first as a way to lighten the mood. But judging by her reaction to my comment, she's serious. Ouch, my pride. Come on, Rinka, you know it's true. How much do you really care about your academics? Frankly, I'm surprised you got that homework done the day you got it. Guess I can't blame her. She's been aware of my middling grades since my acceptance, but still, being told I'm an idiot to my face sucks. Hey, I've been calling you an idiot through this entire playthrough. No one give her a link to the playlist. Sorry, now isn't the appropriate time to discuss this. No, it's fine. You worry too much. I can do pretty well on exams if I actually put in the effort. Actually, that's exactly what I did to get in here, so I'm not about to chalk it up to Parker's influence alone. Let's say that she did have a hand in our reunion, though. The time we've spent together since then is still ours. I'm confident in that claim. There's no denying that fate can be, and has been, altered through divine selection. The results may not be perfect, but it's clear that there's a power we can't begin to comprehend at play. Again, I kind of alluded to the fact that Parker tends to fix things with spackle and duct tape, especially with the whole situation with you. Oh yeah, we'll eliminate you and we'll undo everything he did except for all the things he did that didn't involve someone actually dying. But anyway. Or even just the bit that Scale was saying. It's like, well, if I don't directly cause your grandma's death, who knows what'll happen. Anyway. Still, that doesn't make the time we've spent together meaningless. Yeah, you're right. I must be worrying over nothing. After saying that, she offers a pleasant smile. Her hair dances with the gentle breeze. Incidentally, remember to study for finals. It might be hard for you, all things considered, but I know that you have your whole life ahead of you after this is over with. Same to you, Maharu. My stance won't change. The bell rings soon after. It goes to show how long we've been talking. We clean up in a hurry and make our way to class. She never asked about my answer to her confession, despite our being alone. I feel bad about that. Okay, but what's going to happen? We need some Federico or Alan time. Why are we back on the roof? Uh-oh! Are we playing as Miharu? Because I think that we third person when we do her and Naomi, even though Miharu is a participant. But the fact that we're using her full name... We must be playing as Miharu, because Federico or Alan would use her Hebinata name, not Mishima. Mishima Miharu watches Rinka from behind as they make their way back to their classroom. She's under the impression that Rinka has forgotten about their meeting when they were children. Her attitude makes it apparent that she remembers those events, but Miharu understands that either her confession or a regret card triggers Rinka's memory. She doesn't mind if Rinka forgot, considering how long ago it was. In fact, it would be a bigger issue she does remember, based on her attitude toward Miharu. Miharu is willing to forgive Rinka no matter what she does, though. More importantly, Miharu didn't actually recognize Rinka at first. You're talking about when they reunited? Oh, we're going to get another flashback. Are we getting another intermediary sprite? Slightly younger? Actually, no, this would have been just last year, because these guys are second year, aren't they? It was Maharu's first year at Amica. She often found herself alone due to a lack of friends besides Mao. Her superb grades and looks caused others to avoid her for reasons only they understood. One day, soon after starting high school, she was on the rooftop by herself, as Mao had business elsewhere. Yeah, they look around, the same age. The scars on her wrists were already present. So again, this goes, it confirms that theory I had before. The reason she had scars on her wrists still after Divine Selection was because she had them well before. These are not a result of her actually killing herself. This is a result of her trying to, or just self-mutilation or other nasty stuff. However, due to being alone, she had forgotten to keep them out of sight. Oh dear. Didn't that hurt? The school year had just begun, so she didn't know the name of that girl. At first she thought they might be from the middle school due to their height, but the uniform ran counter to her assumption. How many people do you know that have hair like this, Miharu? Come on. Miharu made no attempt to answer that thoughtless question. She was panicking over the possibility of her wrists being seen. Doubly so due to rumors that had begun to spread. Well, whatever. Not my business. I'm glad the rooftop's open to us, though. I was hoping to enjoy the breeze. After they say that, they sit down right next to Miharu. Miharu swears to herself that she won't speak to them. She gazes toward the horizon instead. They never did try to say anything else to her, though. This is just a repeat of what happened in the park. Is she going to have a flashback of it, and that's what's going to happen? Going to remind her who this is? Miharu eventually caved and braved a glance at the girl. They were gazing into the distance as well. Boy, where has this happened before? Something sparked within Miharu the moment she looked over. Yeah, exactly. She knew she was right, and yet she couldn't bring herself to speak. Oh, there's the bell. Saying that, the girl stood up to leave. Is she going to say the same thing she said in the park? Much to Miharu's surprise, she found herself far too nervous to give any kind of response. Well, till next time. That innocuous event was all it took to set Miharu free. It only took her till that afternoon to learn that the girl's name was Shishimai Rinka. And by the end of the next day, they and Mao had become close enough to have lunch and go home together. Interesting. I wonder if Parker will actually admit to any sort of interference in this area. Rinka has yet to give her an answer. Miharu is still able to smile whenever she looks at her despite that, however. Alright, that's a nice little Miharu break. Where's Federico? I expect him at some point. I head back home as soon as class is over. Miharu left in a hurry due to work, while Naomi has other things to do. Mao's normally the one to ask if she wants to head home together, so I left without her. I hear the sound of someone racing up behind me on my way, though. Uh-oh. Nope, it is Mao. Rennie! I guess Mao has decided to chase after me. What's up? You still haven't given Miharu an answer, have you? Nope. Well, that's very you of you. Shows that you're giving it a lot of thought. I'm sure you got plenty else on your mind, too, including unrelated stuff. It's not that you don't want to give her an answer, right? It's just that you do have other things to clear up first, right? Right. So in that case, I'll do you a solid and tell her that it'll take you a bit longer. She's not even giving Rinka a chance to answer. She's just going off. Mao, times like this make me wonder if she really isn't involved in Divine Selection at all. I know deep down that she isn't, though. While she can seem dense at first blush, Mao can pick up on the most subtle cues. In fact, she might know more about us and the change in our behavior than we do ourselves. No worries, just leave it to Mao. Make sure you're set on your answer, even if it takes a while to find. Remember, nothing will change no matter how you respond. Well, I guess things would if you... Wait, we've had this conversation already. Oh yeah, might as well mention that Naoran's probably caught on by now too. Really? As real can be. Not that it matters though. See you tomorrow. Mao dashes off in front of me after saying her piece. There's no one who shows their consideration quite like Mao, although that was a huge relief for me. She made it clear that I have time to think and answer when I'm good and ready. My priority isn't how our relationship will develop moving forward. It's figuring out how to make sure both of us survive. I mean, she's still on that. I'm still curious about what's going to happen if there's a double stalemate. That's not the situation from the last Divine Selection. Does it, maybe Maharu and Rinka will get to spend their dreams together too, and that'll be part of their relationship, and Parka will just be third wheeling. I change into some clothes I don't mind getting dirty when I get home. My gran asked me to do something for her, so today I'm keeping the store closed so I can finally get around to it. Cleaning her room, I mean. She had planned on coming home this week for a bit, but that got cancelled thanks to scale. When she'd get another chance was anyone's guess, so she asked me to clean her room for her. I guess she still does have a sore, sprained ankle or whatever, despite the fact that scale got kiboshed. I actually got scolded for not having cleaned it already, but that's only because I thought it would be better not to mess with her stuff. Am I going to find something? I'll start cleaning it regularly after today. How much cleaning does it need? No one's there. There's something else I need to do in here, though. Interrogate left for answers. Back to Maharu? Is Federico going to visit? I just want to assume that this is how she greets literally every person that comes in. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Federico or Naomi. I don't think it's going to be Alan. But I want to believe that this is just the standard greeting. That she just makes it sound like is just personalized, meaningless. Whenever you enter the store, she likes everyone else in the store except you. She hates you and you personally. Welcome, and goodbye. Hopefully forever. Maharu attempts to greet her customer as per usual, but she switches gears the moment she sees their face. Ah, nuts. I was hoping this was just how she greeted her customers as per usual. It is Federico. Interesting. Well, this is the ever so slightly new and improved Federico, so let's hope he's not a complete stalker pervert this time. I'll be interested to see what business he has with Maharu. But it is none other than Federico. The fact that he's here means he has business with her. Yep, you've been here before. She shows him to his seat and then brings him some water. Leaving him to another staff member is too risky, so she decides to wait on him herself. Well, he does look the same. And he does talk the same. Gorgeous as ever, ain't ya? When's your shift end? Shall I answer that by having my manager ban you for life? Yeah, she gets to be in character and just tell him off. I don't know, you're on her territory now, Federico. You don't think guys hit on her every day, all day here? I'm already banned from one place. Do me a favor and cut me some slack. Anyway, I'm only here to talk, so chill. He looks kind-hearted enough as far as the response to that. We'll see. I mean, Scales already tried to manipulate people. What's Federico gonna do? It isn't hard for her to figure that he's referring to Milk Crown. She isn't aware of the specifics, but chances are it involved him getting blackout drunk. Well, you're half right. More importantly, something seems off about him to her. He seems far more composed than usual. Almost like he's completely changed since you last saw him. Yeah, what's the plan here, Federico? What's your deal? What's your angle ever since last week? Oh, what's up? Nothing. Do you mind waiting another hour or so? We can talk during my break. Sure, works for me. Mom bringing me a wine list then? Oh, great. Now you get drunk here. We don't serve any wine here, I'm afraid. All we have is bitter coffee filled to the brim with the pretense of love. Guess I'll have one of those then. I'll have an extra large pretense. He pulls out a book after giving his order. It's a book that seems unusual for a man like him, not on a visual level. The cover suits his image quite well. but rather its contents, a collection of works from a famous painter. Maharu casts her mind back to when she and Odette went to an art exhibit focused on the very same artist. Interesting. We're just going to fast forward to the break. No, we're going to skip right over it. Maybe not. Well, maybe we'll get back to it after this commercial break. I retreat to my bedroom after an hour or so of cleaning. Back to Rinka. Dealing with 2 months' worth of dust is tougher than expected. Lots of vacuuming, not to mention the initial round of dusting. Doesn't help that she's got everything nice and organized, so I have to be extra careful. I need to do this on a regular basis. I'm about halfway done now, so it feels like an appropriate time to take a break. Hey, it's the tracksuit again. Gran. I give my thoughts room to breathe. Cleaning her room doesn't bother me at all. It just hurts when I think that I won't see her here again for a while longer. In all honesty, I'd be lying if I said I don't hold a grudge against Scale for what he did. I mean, hey, that's a tough thing to forgive. The sadness I feel over her not coming home far outweighs it, though. Okay, round 2. Yosh! I guzzle half of my sports drink before getting back to work. Alright, back to Federico and Maharu? Maybe not. Alan! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is not good. Yeah, I mean, who else is Alan going to target, right? I would have suspected he'd go after Federico, but barring him, who else, right? There's literally 4 people left. Alan's Scorpion finds himself standing outside Lionhouse. A sign declaring its closure for the day causes him to sigh. Bad timing. Did you always have that bandage around your neck? Is that a new one? While a common sight for this store's regulars, it is a spot of bad luck for Alan. He wants to discuss things properly with Rinka. He could do it over the phone, seeing as he has her number, but he wants to see the look in her eyes as he does it. So be it. Alan abandons his plan and sets off to find somewhere else to satisfy his hunger. His hunger for what exactly? We don't serve food here, just coffee. Did we just dodge a bullet? Is this going to be another thing that gets chalked up to fate? Sorry for the wait. Federico has long since finished his coffee by the time Maharu comes over to see him. That'll be 3,000 yen. He closes his book and cuts to the chase. Tell me Alan Scorpion's cause of death. The contrast between him doing this and his typical attitude takes Maharu aback. Interesting. Federico notices this, but opts not to address it. We made an agreement that you'd tell us after you was eliminated. Things might have gotten a bit muddled with Odette going rogue and Scale trying to eliminate you, but I still have the right to know. His attitude continues to surprise her. He's not wrong. That's true. Maharu did promise that information if they went after you first, and they did, and Naomi's back and everyone's happy, but this was never resolved. She had him pegged as a far more brash and careless person, the type that could never truly be cruel to another. Really? That impression remained firm even during the last round of divine selection. He even seemed the same when he first arrived at the restaurant, but everything changed the moment he took his seat. You have a point. She takes a moment to think before answering. I want to hear too. Ignoring him outright is one option, but he seems to hold no hostility toward her. Add in the fact that he seems worth talking to right now, and there are 2 issues I have with it, but this isn't quite the place to discuss either. Is there any way you can get yourself back into that bar's good graces? I guess you're right. Fine. I'll see what I can do. There are other bars you guys can meet at. I'll bet they serve milk and everything. This is absolutely not the place to discuss anything related to divine selection. I guess you wouldn't... come on, he probably knows about Lionhouse already. Just meet him there for coffee. Why not? It could just be where everyone meets to negotiate. Alan's already been there too. At least for 5 minutes. Maharu is confident he'll be able to sort something out, although that confidence she had in him perplexes her. Maharu is confident he'll be able to sort something out, although that confidence she has in him perplexes her. Oh, she must be referring to his ability to sort something out with the bar. After arranging to meet in 3 hours, Federico pays his bill and leaves. Back to Rinka? We're just bouncing around between the main players here. Again, it's just 4 people alive. It's still just Monday. Everyone's getting busy. Phew. Night is fallen by the time I finish cleaning my Gran's room. Getting it all out of the way today was a good call, at least. It looks nice and clean now. Everyone else is going around playing Divine Selection, looking for info, trying to make arrangements and stuff, and Rink is just like, let me clean Gran's room real quick. All that's left is to wash the windows on Saturday. I take a nice warm shower to wash off all the sweat and dust. Ideally, I'd follow that up by crawling into bed and sleeping, but there's something else I need to do first. I take a deep breath and turn my attention to a certain book. Is this something you got from Gran? It's like a photo album, something about her parents or her past. It really is the same. What? You... Wait. What? How? Okay, I know her parents were part of Divine Selection, but why would her grandmother have this book? It looks exactly the same as my card book. Okay, maybe we do need to talk to Gran about Divine Selection. Gran has a card book? Gran has a 17-year-old card book? Maybe this is... Gran seems very intuitive. She seems like a smart cookie. Maybe she intentionally told Rinka, hey, clean my damn room already, you lazy runt. Because she knew this would be in there and she might find it and it would, The one major difference is that this one is far more worn than mine, to the extent that it looks like it'll fall apart without proper care. The color and decorations on it are practically the same too, although hers feels somehow more unique than my card book, almost like it was handcrafted as opposed to being mass-produced. My Gran was surprised when she saw my card book during my visit the other day. Oh! So she just had it with her and her Gran happened to see it and her Gran was like, wait, what the hell? Uh-oh. I'll bet that led to a conversation. I recall sending her a photo. Oh, that's right. We sent her a photo of it intentionally. Way back when we were thinking about selling the thing because we had no idea what it was. It's like, Gran, did you leave this in my room? What the hell? We sent her a photo of it back before before we realized its purpose. She didn't seem concerned at the time, claiming that there might be a similar book in her room. It wasn't until she saw the real thing that she remembered having one that looked the exact same. Ah! There's no way I would let that comment slip past. Yeah, how many books look like this? I asked if I could check it out while cleaning her room, which she agreed to. It took little effort to find, considering she remembered where it was. All I had to do was pull out a box from the bottom of her bookshelf and open it. Yeah, let's open it. Are her parents' cards in here? Whose is this? Is it her mom's? Or is it her dad's? Or is it someone else's? I can't imagine she was part of Divine Selection because we know only one person survived and that was Maharu. This belongs to her great... Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Time out, time out, time out. Time right the hell out. This belongs to her great-great-grandmother. So this is from an even more previous Divine Selection? That's what she told me anyway. Why is this a family heirloom? I mean, I guess maybe the person that survived would have hung on to it because it would be important to them. It would certainly be a major life event. Maybe that would be what turns it into an heirloom. Okay, I guess that makes sense. That would mean that this has been around for over 100 years. Makes sense considering its ragged condition. The book's history alone makes it a pretty important relic. With that in mind, I take a deep breath before opening it. Yeah, what sort of random cards are going to be in here? Is it just going to be random names and things that don't mean anything to us? Or is there going to be something meaningful in here? Or maybe something just kind of that leads to a revelation? Oh! Oh, okay. I was not expecting that. Okay, this is an actual book. Why does it look like that? What the hell is going on? Its contents are all written in English, which doesn't surprise me. My Gran revealed that her own Gran was from England, making her a quarter English. I was kind of amazed that she never once brought that up in the 16 years we've spent together. When questioned about it, she replied that it's because I never thought to ask. Well, the usual cop-out. Not only does this mean I'm 1/16th English, but it apparently also explains the gold coloring in some of my hair. Really? Oh, people from Britain just have golden hair. I had no idea. Damn, learn something new every day. Setting that aside, she also said that she never bothered to read the book because her grasp of English is poor, to put it nicely. It remained an important memento of her own gran, however, so she couldn't bring herself to throw it away. It's a diary. The first page is a simple brown flyleaf. Page 2 is where the diary starts. It's all handwritten, although the ink is starting to fade here and there due to its age. Are we going to be able to understand it because of our own book? Can't say I'm too familiar with English writing habits, but something about the penmanship tells me it was written by a woman. That would mean it's my great-great-grandmother's diary. I placed my card book next to the diary before reading it. I should be able to read it just fine thanks to the card book's effect. Yeah, what is this going to be about? Okay, never mind. We're not looking through cards and maybe hoping for a slight hint of a revelation. This is a diary. This might have some in-depth info in some way. Like, why does the book look like this? Or not. It's kind of hard to parse when the writing's so faded. It takes me half an hour to make it through just 2 pages. The best comparison I can make is that it's like trying to read Japanese, except the kanji are all jumbled up. Not being able to make out certain phrases is what makes it hard to decipher, basically. From what I could get through, it seems like a regular diary. She talks about food she ate, who she talked to, that kind of stuff. I was right about it being written around 100 years ago, so it's pretty interesting to learn the cultural differences between the early 1900s and today. It'll take a while to get through the entire thing at this pace, though. Plus, it might not see anything related to divine selection at all. Now, I'm sorry, with a cover like that, it absolutely must. It might be best if I just check whether or not diaries like this were sold at the time, if I can't find anything relevant by flipping through. You can at least check the back pages. Guess I should give it some more time. I'll read 1 more page tonight before bed, then a few more tomorrow. That should be enough to decide if it's worth perusing the rest or not. I noticed something curious while solidifying my plan. Oh, I almost forgot. This diary was made and given to me by my sister Diana for my birthday. This diary was made and given to me by my sister Diana for my birthday. That explains my earlier thoughts, although I figured it was more due to time taking its toll on the book rather than its craftsmanship. Now I'm even more curious about the link between it and our card books. It's definitely one of a kind. There was no internet back then, so they couldn't have published the design somewhere for others to easily replicate. The theory I had 10 minutes ago has already been proven wrong thanks to this. This diary might just have the answers I'm looking for. My gut is telling me I'm right. I doubt anyone would think otherwise when faced with these same mysteries. I had planned on studying tonight, but that can wait. Instead, I take the diary downstairs with me. I'll need the right environment to read through this beast. Okay, what are we going to learn? Let's have this meeting as well. Things are going pretty quick today. Damn. Maharu finds herself at Milk Crown for the first time in around 2 weeks. While the idea of a high schooler visiting a bar like this is problematic in and of itself, Maharu has already become accustomed to it. I managed to smooth things out, just as promised. Federico was already there by the time she arrives. He wasted no time in buying a drink, it seems. The bar's lighting reflects off the amber liquid in his glass. We agreed that he'd let me back in if I bought the most expensive whiskey on the shelf. It's damn good. Want some? Pretty sure he'd let it slide. I'm sure I made my intention to not drink clear last time. Sorry to disappoint, but could you just get me some milk? Her decision leaves him visibly disappointed, leading to him and the bar owner clinking their glasses together on their own. Maharu sighs in response, as the owner doesn't seem to care at all that Federico has been barred once before, now that he's forking out a hefty sum for a drink. Right. Now, for you and me to spend some quality time together. Oh, please, yeah. Please, can you rephrase that kindly? Any more of that talk and I might become allergic to you. Federico's attitude while drinking is much more in line with her previous image of him. She feels an odd sense of relief over this. Oh, well. You said there were 2 issues with revealing Alan's cause of death, right? Fill me in on those first. Fine. The first issue is that I only know the contents of his cause of death card. She goes on to explain that she doesn't know the details behind how it happened. And of course we know what that means. It means you can't just generate a card based off that. I don't think Federico's going to care, though. This means that Federico will be unable to obtain a card even if she reveals it to him. Yeah, but it'll be a start. Fine with me. I'm heading off to India soon to get as much info on him as I can. Ah, so you're going to be out of the picture for the next week. Okay, so he's actually going to try. Interesting. I wonder if he's going to betray my expectations and not be the next one to let go. At the very least, he'll be going somewhere where Alan can't beat him up again. Scale only give me the most basic of the basics, so I'm going to visit his family and find out the details behind his cause of death and regret. Knowing the contents of the card itself will make that a whole lot easier. Are you serious? Damn right I am. It's the first thing Odette would do if she ever got stuck. Not like I can exactly imagine that ever happening to her in the first place. He urges her to tell him about the second issue. It's true. I mean, when we first met Federico and Odette, the first thing they were doing was hopping on a plane to Trail Row. Before she can say anything more, he downs the rest of his drink and gets his glass refilled. Alan is going to be eliminated whether or not you gather information on him. It's likely that he wants Rinka to be the one to do it. Okay, this is interesting. Well, what makes you say that? I mean, I get that Alan has a certain respect for Rinka, but he seems to be the one most hell-bent on living. I don't think he really wants... I mean, that would be awfully convenient for our pro-tag girl to just... Oh yeah, everyone just wants Rinka to vote us out. You wants Rinka to be the one to vote us out, and we need to vote out Scale, and Alan's going to help us do it, and Maharu's on our side, and Alan's just... Come on. Where's this coming from? Maharu had already heard about how Scale targeted Rinka's grandmother and how it was Alan who saved her. Okay, that's fair. How do you extrapolate from that? It was easy for her to deduce that Alan felt some sort of attachment to Rinka, based on both that and what she had heard previously. At the same time, his actions didn't seem like those of someone who intended to survive divine selection. Possibly? Well, that's so. And not really an issue for me. I've only got one goal now. Eliminate that asshole myself. Rather stubborn, aren't you? You'd be much better off ignoring him and focusing on myself and Rinka. Should you be saying that, Maharu? Really? Heh. Sorry, but I don't got no interest in you two right now. Unless it's your body, of course. Maharu can only think of one woman as she watches him laugh after making that comment. Maharu can only think of one woman as she watches, like she just has eyes for Rinka and she has no interest in this asshole. I guess that's what that line means. It leads her to understand why he felt like a different person before. Either way, it doesn't hurt us to reveal his cause of death to you, and I'd rather not break our promise. It was poison! Interesting. I didn't see that coming. I don't know anything beyond that, but his fame shouldn't make it too hard to figure out. You'll be able to turn that into a card in no time. Poison! Poison? Did number 6 poison him? Oh, that would explain why he was so quick to vote her out. That would be interesting. Ah, poison. Well, I guess we'll see how that's a factor. Cheers to that. With that out of the way, hang out with me till I catch my flight in the morning. I will not hang out with you for one more second more. Yeah. I'll decline. Have you forgotten that I'm still in high school? Maharu takes a breath before continuing. However, I suppose I could force down another glass of milk. I'll stick around until I finish that. There is a reason why she decides to say this. I'd be very curious what that is. It's because she knows that this will be the last time she and Federico will ever cross paths in the real world. Well, likely the case if he's heading to India. Maharu goes straight to bed upon returning home. The next day, she manages to obtain Federico's regret card. How did that happen? I'd like to hear the thought process there. I guess that's how she knows he's gone. Okay, so for the sake of her beloved Rinka, Maharu will vote out Federico. Federico will run to India. Probably make no headway on Alan if the game wants our pro tag to take care of that. I guess it wouldn't really matter what Federico does anyway, because if Maharu votes out Federico, then Federico can't do jack squat. Because again, the one rule that we haven't really touched on yet, what happens if someone is both nominated and nominating? The order matters. If Maharu votes him out first, then whatever he does isn't going to make a lick of difference. The next day, she manages to obtain Federico's regret card. Did she have his cause of death? I know Alan has his cause of death. I can't remember how he got it. Oh, of course. Everybody has Federico's cause of death. He revealed it. What am I saying? Think for a minute, Psy'Min. He actually revealed his name and cause of death cards. The only thing anybody is missing is his regrets. So, alright, Maharu's set then. She got it as she reflected on the events of the night before while taking a bath. Reflected on the events of the night before. Are we a Tuesday? No, we're still a Monday. I feel about ready to collapse when I'm only about 1/6 through the diary. Hey, that's a fair bit. You do that once a day, you're going to be through the whole thing by the end. I've always been a slow reader, but I'm probably going twice as slow thanks to the faded writing. It's just your run-of-the-mill diary. You can skip ahead, girl. That's about the only thing I can say after what I've read so far. I feel both guilty and slightly embarrassed reading it, since it feels like I'm peeking into someone else's life. Apparently my great-great-grandmother's name was Linda. The vague similarities between it and my own name make me feel a bond with her. Her dad was an English clockmaker. Both he and his wife moved to Japan before Linda was born. He visited Japan once before to instruct others about his craft, and it left quite a positive impression. The decision to move was a result of the company he previously instructed offering him a permanent position. Linda was born not long after they moved, and her younger sister Diana followed the next year. I doubt that my gran remembers much about Diana. And I'm just now noticing how well designed this diary is. My bias against the design thanks to my card book got in the way of that. She must have been a nice person if she's willing to make something this nice for her sister. I wonder if the fact that he was a clockmaker factored into the design. The contents of the diary itself give the impression that they got along well. Part of me feels a bit jealous, since I don't have any siblings. Now that I think about it, Maharu and Naomi are the same. Mao has a younger brother, which makes her my only friend with a sibling. Anyway, I close the diary after glancing at my clock. I make sure to be nice and gentle so the spine doesn't crumble. This'll probably take me all week to get through. Funny how everything in this game takes a week. But it will be timely. I wonder if we'll have some fresh questions for Parka when Sunday rolls around. It's not like Rinken's going to do anything else. What's she going to do? Gather information on Alan or Federico? Where would she start? Having decided to pick up where I left off tomorrow, I head to my room. Is that actually it? Alan's not peeking through the window? Who? Maharu? Nope. Federico. Heh. Can't believe I feel this good, despite how much I drank. Can't believe Maharu went home after her drink, too. The next guy that falls for her is going to have a rough time, no doubt about it. Federico chats aloud on a near-empty train. His destination? The airport. I wonder if this will bear any fruit. What's going to happen here? He finds himself thinking back on his life during the ride. Born in southern Italy, his life was an amalgamation of failures. Like I said, this is the week we're going to learn about Federico, because there's no doubt he's gone. As a child, he was often bullied, relatable. He was as thin back then as he was now, only shorter, and left him with no real means to defend himself. His attempts at retaliation resulted only in further beatdowns, both physical and verbal. He became a child who knew the taste of defeat well. At the same time, his parents had settled on a divorce after dealing with a lot of friction. Federico wanted to stay with his mother, and that was his original regret card. There was no deep reasoning behind it. He simply liked being around her more of the time. But even those feelings were linked to failure. The divorce was due to an affair on the mother's side. Naturally, Federico had no involvement in it, but he considered his choice a failure regardless. His mother opted to move in with the man she was seeing and eventually married him. The wedding ring wasn't something she left to Federico. He snatched it when it tumbled out of the garbage. Wow. Even so, he couldn't bring himself to part with it, as it represented his desire to see her once more. 20 years later, he finally realized that it served to symbolize his inability to win his mother's love. Funny how little I care now that it's gone. Who knows? Maybe she felt the same way when she tossed it. I get how she wasn't able to devote herself to one person now. The first time he started dating someone was just after entering high school. She was a frank girl, one to always drag him around at her whim. While things appeared steady between them, it was all for nothing when she had to move away. Putting aside what he thought of those events, his high school life was nothing but failure, even when he was no longer the target of bullying. He was surrounded by people far more skilled than him in the soccer club. No matter how hard he tried to surpass them, he never could manage it. Even when he put his all into studying, he was never once able to get the best grades in class. Compounding these with the failures of his childhood led Federico to become a child who would always hold himself back. Not that he was aware of it. Much like how he was never aware of the misfortune it continued to cause him later in life. His fear of failure led to his decision to not apply to any universities, a reality that he continually denied. Instead, he started up his own business. Let me guess, that failed too? This choice was spurred on by his father's death, which led him with a fairly large inheritance. The business itself wasn't complicated. Anyone with a good amount of money on their hands could do it. He loaned money to those who were struggling, attached a hefty interest rate, and then collected what he was owed at a later date. Well, yeah, I guess that is a business, being a loan shark. Of course, he made sure to choose his business partners well. People who couldn't inform the police of his activities due to their having multiple debts or criminal records. In other words, those who had experienced failure on an even greater level than him. There were a number of ways to deal with those who wouldn't pay up. He could force them to visit other loan sharks, lay claim to whatever valuables they had, or simply beat the money out of them. You do not look like the sort of person who could beat the money out of anybody. In terms of profit, he was doing somewhat well for himself, until he ran into an issue that money couldn't solve, that was. He had been conducting business in the Mafia's territory. Well, I thought you were a mafioso. Were you just on the run from the Mafia and that was your cover story to Odette? Naturally, they weren't pleased. Those who crossed the Mafia were likely to be whacked with the snap of a finger. That freak in nature was way more intimidating than they ever were. Physically, at least, Odette. In the end, Federico's first ever business venture resulted in failure. Ha! Sucker, my business is going fine. There was only one way for him to escape his situation. He presented the profits he made to one of the Mafia's higher-ups and became a member himself. Ah, okay, so he did become a mafioso. He never held any significant position there, but his abilities allowed him to bring a fair amount of money into the organization. He even began targeting landowners, convincing them to give up their land in exchange for social status. There was one issue, however. A majority of the money he made was funneled straight to the higher-ups, which ticked him off. That led to him laundering the organization's money by transferring it to a bank in Switzerland. He set his eyes on a certain shipping company, too, one he had dealt with before. Of course, it was no ordinary shipping company. They dealt in weapons, stolen goods, and much more. The boat itself was stateless, but its representative was a woman from France. They were effectively a group of independent mercenaries. Odette was from France? I guess I don't know French names. Maybe Odette Malencon is a French name? I have no idea. She doesn't look very French. I thought I pegged Scale as French for a bit there, didn't I? Someone mentioned... Oh, no, wait, Odette mentioned something about France when she was talking to him. Was she saying that because of him, or was she saying that because of herself? I have to go back and watch that scene now. Kind of amazing that they let me on in the first place, now that I think about it. Having discussed things with the captain of the ship, that being Odette Malencon, he settled on fleeing the country. The Mafia itself was essentially a family-run business. Federico would never make it to the top in that environment, regardless of how hard he tried. Even so, all members had to make a blood oath upon joining. Were they to quit, all that awaited them was prison. Of course, one could not simply quit the Mafia and expect to live. And thus, fearing failure once more, he chose to flee. Only for the ship to be targeted by pirates, leading to both him and Odette's death. Ain't nothing cool about being a loser even after dying. By reflecting on his past, Federico was able to lull himself to sleep until he arrives at his next stop. His mind is only on one thing, to gather as much information about Alan as possible before returning to Japan on Sunday morning. I guess you don't have to come back to Japan. You don't need to be here until the moment of convergence. Again, what's going to happen there? Why is that necessary? Why are these rules in place? Are they in place because of Parka? Are they in place because of something higher up? But he has yet to notice, though his life may have been steeped in failure, he's never given in. He's always struggled against that which most people simply accepted. Federico Carminati is no loser in the game of life. Well, he is kind of a loser, but at least he's a fighter. I respect the hustle. I respect the never-give-up attitude. Tuesday, after school. I make sure to open the store today after school. I've been feeling better now that my grand's room is all neat and tidy. Once closing time comes around, I go about my usual routine before bringing the diary downstairs to read it. Is Alan going to visit again? As always, I make sure to handle it with the utmost of care. And then I delve even deeper into the daily lives of Linda and Diana. Linda and Diana. Neither name is Parka. Huh. What's this going to lead to? What sort of revelations are waiting for us in this diary? Why does every hotel in every country look exactly the same? Alan finds himself staying at a hotel today. It isn't unusual for him to switch to one over the warehouse in Yokohama every now and then. The warehouse is perfectly fine for him. It does lack the facilities required to recharge his phone and laptop, however. Not that he can deny the pleasure that comes from sleeping on a comfortable bed. I couldn't bring myself to go today. To Lionhouse? While he had made the decision to visit Rinka yesterday, the store she was running was closed. Today, on the other hand, he simply couldn't bring himself to go. Why not? You know, we've gotten so much about what's ticking in Federico's head, and I guess that's just because everyone gets their week. We get to see all about Scale on his week. We celebrate all about Federico on his week. We better learn a lot more about Alan after next week, when Federico is almost certainly gone. If proof was needed for the butterfly effect of missing one's opportune moment, this would be it. Why? It would have no influence on Alan under normal circumstances, yet he finds himself unable to operate as usual when it comes to Rinka. My next chance may be my last. And all of a sudden the bandage is just gone from his neck instantly. You guys forgot to doctor this sprite. My next chance may be my last. Why is that? He collapses onto his bed and casts his mind back to the first participant he eliminated. Ah, here we go. Oh, give it to me. What's up? So we finally meet Chan. Chan was her name. So we finally meet. What? Who is this person and why would she poison you? Or maybe it was food poisoning. We don't know. Chan. Finally. I've already said that, but still, finally. Chan. So we finally meet. May 3rd, Sunday, 3 days following the juncture of causality. So this is after they died? Maybe they learned about each other. Oh, this is before the first. This is literally the day of the first elimination, right? I would have to go back to the videos and check. But we'll see if it is. May 3rd, Sunday, 3 days following the juncture of causality. Because it was 3 days after everyone died that the first election was held, and it is a Sunday. Alan had been called out to by a lone woman. Alan had received the explanation about divine selection from Parker by this point, but he chose not to go to Japan until after the first round. So this is just another... This is yet again, all warehouses look exactly the same and we're still in India. Hang on a second. No. Let's back it up. Hey, so we finally meet. Called out by a lone woman. Okay, so we're just somewhere. The woman standing before him was Chan Chan. She was the one that caused him to forego his decision and instead come earlier. Oh, so she did call him to Japan. Also, Chan Chan? That's a weird name. I thought she was an American tourist. That's how she was first described and spoke English. Boy, this game really needs to work on its English names. First Scale and now Chan. It wasn't unusual for people he didn't know to request appointments with him, considering his position. These requests were typically ignored. However, he had no choice but to take notice when she brought up divine selection over the phone. While still somewhat suspicious, it was here he learned that a small number of people found themselves in the same situation as him. I'm so glad you came, Mr. Allen. She stood a few meters away from him, her tone as confident as they came. In Alan's eyes, she seemed like nothing more than an average woman in her early 20s. Her apparel was simple, about what one would expect of someone on vacation. How do you know me? Rather, how do you know that I'm a participant in Divine Selection? Did she start with your name card? Come on, you know that you're famous, don't you? To answer your second question, sure, I'll fill you in. Just so happens that your name card was part of the initial cards I was dealt. Not many people with a strange name like yours, that's for sure. Okay, so I was right, she started with the name card. I've actually known you for a while, though. Do you remember a man named William Liu? Do you remember a man named William Liu? It doesn't ring a bell. Figured as much. Oh! There's the bill. This is where Bill oh, and she looks mad. Bill rather, is part of an advertising company that works with yours. He said he's met you in person, but I guess Mr. Boss doesn't have time to remember the lowly faces of all his subcontractors. The more the woman spoke, the less Alan cared to be bothered. Yeah, Alan's not big on small talk. He was never very good with these types, the ones who gradually drifted off topic the longer they spoke. Oh, God, if I had a few people I've had to talk to this last week that I relate to with that. Were she a regular businesswoman, he would have been long gone. But yeah, so I'm Bill's fiancé. Okay. Congratulations. Why was the name Bill exclaimed in the court then? So yeah, I'm Bill's fiancé. Care to get to the point, Miss Chan? Huh? How do you know my name? I don't remember telling you. Do we have your name card too? I recommend withholding your number if you plan to use an alias when phoning a company. Ah! You can't mess with Alan. Excuse me? After he said that, Alan took out a single card. Oh, don't tell me he actually researched her based on that before the evening rolled around. Chan was quite familiar with the card's design. 6, name, Chan. She wasn't aware of the significance behind the numeral yet, but it was clear that her own name was written on it. I'm afraid I've already borne witness to the moment a new card is produced. Hey now, isn't that cheating? What happened to protecting people's personal information? Alan remained silent in the face of her panic. He was aware that nothing would come from interacting with her as if things were normal. It's just my name, though. Hard not to discover something so common. More importantly, Chan, you fell to your death, correct? Oh! Alan's starting off strong. He literally got... So he doesn't know who you are, but he still got all your cards before the very first election. Explain this. No way! How'd you know? It was simple, really. 6, cause of death, fell to their death. Did you start with that, or did you figure it out somehow? He was unable to determine who the card belonged to at the time, as he had yet to meet anyone else in the court of fate. Oh, so you did start with that. However, he soon realized that each participant had an identifying numeral after he came to possess Chan's name card. He had anticipated this by nature of his personal cards containing the numeral 12, but with this he was able to confirm it. Once he knew that Chan was numeral 6, he was able to link her cause of death and name. Uh-oh. Don't tell me I just said something I shouldn't have. Her carelessness was a source of irritation to Alan. Yeah, this about Federico pisses him off too. One shouldn't make light of their name. Of course, that's advice you'll have to consider in the next life. Alan was already an atheist, but the teachings of his parents seemed to carry a lingering influence on him. Huh? I don't know why you're acting like you know my regret, but you were mountain climbing with William while on vacation. It was nothing too difficult. More of a hike than climbing, really. How are you getting all this already? However, curiosity got the better of you. It led to you veering off the designated route toward the cliff's edge in the hopes of a better view. What? Were you stalking? No. He literally didn't know who you were before. That's gross! I can't stand gloomy people like you, even if you have a handsome face. Besides, Bill's the only man for me. As for how you fell to your death, I think it's fair to assume you slipped. Truly the definition of foolish for such a thing to happen after entering an off-limits area. Shut it! Since you love talking so much, tell me how you know so much about me. I can't tell if you're clueless or if the panic is causing you to forget. Alan made sure to gather as much information on Chan as he could the moment he learned her name. He wasn't entirely convinced that divine selection was real, but The creation of the cards and the existence of a card book that removed all language barriers convinced him not to deny it outright. Information provided one with the upper hand when negotiating. That was the conclusion Alan had reached. It was why he did everything he could to gather information on not only her, but her fiancé William as well, though he wouldn't admit to such a thing. Why not? Half of what he told her was information she herself had made public via rampant social media posts and updates. While the rest of her fall had clearly been undone, it wasn't difficult for him to put the pieces together based on the information he had at hand. Well, whatever. Let's put an end to this farce. Why did you call him out here exactly? Chan wiped the sweat off her brow before whipping out a knife! It was a butcher's knife, about 20 centimeters in length. Her intent with it clear as day. We're going to get a sprite for this? It's not going to do anything, but I guess maybe she doesn't know that yet. I've got my life together with Bill waiting for me. I can't afford to die again. She raises the knife before dashing toward Alan. This isn't going to do anything. A mere 5 meters separated them. She would reach him at her speed in an instant. Chan was confident in her speed, thanks to her having played tennis since childhood. Yeah, you know, Alan, he's pretty good at this fighting thing. We've learned that. You may have, What's more, Alan was the stereotypical rich boy. He had no means to defend himself. You're about to be in for a surprise. Or so she thought. Were you not informed that participants cannot die via normal means? Okay, so this was explained. She's just dumb. Alan dodged her with ease before twisting her wrist and stealing the knife from her grasp. He kept hold of her wrist, however, and brought the knife to rest against her neck. Huh? How this? Well, hey, let's take a time out, okay? You must not believe what the goddess said, I take it. Not that I would believe it before I've seen proof. Hang on a second. This isn't looking good for me, is it? I mean, I'll die if you slice me up with that. But you'll become a murderer, you know. Boy, she is just not paying attention. Yeah, I'm with Alan. I'm starting to lose patience. Alan could hardly believe the words coming out of this woman's mouth after her own attempt to stab him. Yeah, that too. He knew that there would be no point in calling her out for it, however. Would you like to be my test subject? Damn! Are we going to test this? Try to kill her, and then when she doesn't die? Don't! Please! Help! Someone help! Disastrous hardly begins to describe what transpired next. Holy crap, Alan. Just as Chan screamed, William leapt out of hiding. Oh! Well, guess who doesn't have protection? He attempted to jump Alan, but Alan used Chan as a human shield. William could make no move in that situation, so Alan threw the knife away and pushed Chan toward him. They both fell over as she slammed into him, causing Alan to look down on them both.
Mr. William.
Tonight is your final night with her, Mr. William. Spend it well. Saying that, he took out a third card. 6. Regret. Married life. She died before she could get married. No! My regret! You are without a doubt the most foolish participant among the 12. I got no time for this hoe. Alan had lost all interest in Chan by that point. He picked up the knife and tossed it back to them. The last thing he wanted was to raise suspicion by carrying it around when he'd only just arrived in Japan. Neither Chan nor William saw this as an opportunity either. Their instinctual fear of him had taken over. Not even a gun would make them feel as though they stood on equal footing with him. Alan had no interest in what they did following that event. Yeah, no kidding. And this place may come in handy. Not only was it abandoned, but no one else seemed to be squatting here either. Boy, the only thing Six managed to contribute to this whole debacle was scouting a hiding place for Alan. Good job. Good job, Chan-Chan. It's neither too close nor too far from the city. Should everything check out over the next few days, he would use it as his base of operations. All right, we got some info about Chan-Chan. Part of me can understand her desperation now, at least. Alan lets his thoughts slip out as he stares at the hotel room ceiling. Is that the end of a Tuesday? Still Tuesday. All right. 2 hours after I begin reading, I've made it through another fifth of the diary, I'd guess. While the diary of a girl living through the end of the Meijing period is interesting in its own right, The structure is inherently different from a novel. That makes the process of reading it pretty tiring. I did come across an interesting tidbit, although one unrelated to divine selection. They had a black cat as well. Leth! Leth! No, Leth! Leth! Leth is evil. Leth. They had a black cat as well. It had a leisurely attitude and seemed to be more attracted to Diana than Linda. It would appear and disappear when it saw fit. By the sounds of it, it could have been Leth's great-great-grand cat. This damn cat. What is the secret behind this damn cat? Is it actually the effeminate dude? Because I swear the effeminate dude's earring and the collar around Leth look pretty much the same. They called the cat Leo, which is pretty similar to Leth. One diary entry was about how it once stepped on a piece of broken glass, leaving a scar on the paw of its front right leg. Check Leth! Check Leth through the scar. Check it, check it, check it. Meow? Speak of the devil, it's Leth. Leth, give me your damn paw this instant. Hey, you should watch out for broken glass. You haven't walked on some already, have you? Meow. I try to approach, but Leth runs off. Must have sensed something annoying was about to happen. Or it's trying to hide its paw. I assume it's fine if it can still sprint like that. Following that, I close the diary and head back to my room. What is the secret here? What is going on? Once in bed, I start to think about what I should do from here on out. Let's put things into perspective. I have 3 main concerns at the moment. First and most importantly, finding a means for both Maharu and me to survive. That's a pretty big picture one, but alright. I've yet to reach a conclusion, but I'm sure that figuring out the mysteries behind divine selection itself is the right approach. Maybe, unless someone gets your cards and votes you out. I can't say for sure whether or not I've made any progress until I've finished reading Linda's diary. The second concern is gathering information on Alan. This is a difficult one as well, especially when I don't understand his goal. I know for a fact that he holds no hostility toward me, but I hardly think he's willing to let me eliminate him just because of that. Well, Maharu seems to think so. I'm not sure she's correct in that assumption. I think Alan actually went out of his way to say that he could eliminate Rinka without issue just because he had respect for her. But I can't remember specifically that wording. That's why I need to discuss things with him. I'm not sure you want to be around him. He seems to have no problem beating information out of someone. Even when he came by cordially to talk to Federico, he was just like, so, you want to go outside and throw down? I have no way to contact him, but something tells me that he'll come to see me soon. Already has. My third and final concern is Federico. Well, I'm glad he's a concern after Alan. I know both his name and cause of death, but I have nothing to go on for his regret. As it turns out, Maharu does. I've never talked to him in person, so that makes things even more difficult. I guess that's true. Are we going to get another option to pick up or not pick up? Huh? Just then I receive a text message. It's from Maharu. I've gathered all of Federico's information. My shift starts later tomorrow, so do you mind if I come to Lion House after school? Well, that was quick. I can't even remember if I said talk to Maharu, but Maharu's like, nah, I got you, fam. The message itself is short, but I can't help but be amazed at her perfect timing. I text back, that works for me. I figure I can use that time to talk to her about the diary as well. Yeah, what's Maharu's reaction to the diary going to be? Because again, she's been in divine selection before. She's going to be seeing this and think like, what the hell? I haven't hit a dead end quite yet. Well, not only do you not hit a dead end, you just got one of your 3 concerns taken care of. Granted, it was your 3rd of the 3, but still. Forcing myself to believe that, I set my mind on getting some sleep. And we will force our minds on wrapping up the video because that would be a good stopping point. Maharu and I head to Lion House once classes have ended, as expected. And what is going to happen from here? This sounds like it's going to be an interesting week. What are we going to learn from this diary? I feel like now that we've started making headway on stuff about Parka, that trend is going to continue, so what is the next revelation going to be? In the meantime, again, Federico, once again, his cards have been collected. It's the 3rd damn time. Let's see if it sticks this time. So he's likely out. Will he be able to take Alan with him? Probably not, if we vote him first. Maybe he'll collect all of Alan's information, but then we vote him out first because Maharu comes before him on the clock. And he'll just think to himself, well, I guess I'm still a failure. I even won and I still failed. Man, I can't do anything right. Just dies as he lives. Plus, Maharu's the one to vote him out, which will be satisfying. Can we get one more night real quick? How about a peck on the cheek? No, fuck off. Anyway. And, I wonder if what Federico learns will give us some clues to figuring out Alan's stuff. And will Alan figure out our stuff? Because he's definitely come by to have a chat. It'll be interesting to hear what his perspective is. I very highly doubt he's just going to let Rinka vote him out. But at the same time, is he still dead set on voting everyone else out? He certainly seems quite happy to do it, although obviously his attitude has changed as the game has gone on. We need some Alan time after we're done with our Federico time. I guess Federico's gone now, so hopefully we have less of him. But having a little info on Chan Chan. Okay, we finally learned number 6's name, and we also know why she exclaimed Bill in the middle of Divine Selection elimination as well. Alright, that's kind of cool. I did wonder if learning about Chan Chan would give us some insights into Alan, but no, it just reminded us about what a badass he was 8 weeks ago. Anyway, we will continue with the next video and see what else comes. See you then.